everybody, it's Becky. I am back today with a book review for you guys. I'm always on the lookout for books that are going to help me or help me raise my kids or help me be a better homeschooler or a better Christian or a better mom or a better wife. I'm looking for books that are going to either give me advice about having and raising girls or that's going to help my girls that they can read on their own, and that's going to help them to be better Christians and kind of help them navigate growing up being a girl, which is not easy. And I think it's not easy for a boy either, but I think girls have a lot more issues maybe sometimes than boys. This book is 10 Ultimate Truths That Girls Should Know. Not a very big book, so it's a fairly short read. It's good for a girl that wants to read it on her own, or maybe in my case, I read it to my daughter, just my 11-year-old, just to make sure that if she had any questions, I could answer them as we went. And just because I knew that it was geared for a little bit of an older girl, I wanted to make sure that I didn't just hand her this and be like, here, read about whatever. Even though it's written for Christians and godly principles, sometimes in that you still have to talk about things that maybe are a little bit too old and mature for her age group. So those things we kind of skipped over, but everything else I read to her, and then there's questions at the end of each chapter. So your daughter can either answer them on her own, there's a couple questions, or you can just talk about them together and use them as kind of conversation starters. So either way, it's fine to do. I had her answer them on her own, but I just had her write them on a separate sheet of paper. That way, if she chooses to read this again when she gets older, or when I have my youngest daughter read it when she's about 11 or 12, this area will be blank and it won't have like a bunch of other people's writings and answers in it. So that way it'll last us a lot longer, because we plan on keeping this in our home library for access again in the future. I definitely plan on having her read it again independently when she's about 14 or so, when some of the topics that we skipped about boys and that kind of a thing are a little bit more relevant to her age group. But other than that, everything in here was pertinent to her and the life that she's in now. And so basically, it's written, each chapter is a truth that every girl should know. And so some of my favorite truths were, today's choices set the stage for your reputation. And of course, the chapter elaborates on, making the right choices, and the choices that you make now affect you in the future and affect your reputation in the future. So working to protect your reputation by making the right choices now and then later on down the road. Another truth is people peak at different times in life. Trust God's plan for you. I think that's especially important for young girls because it is hard. And I know for me, middle school was the hardest ugly duckling years. I mean, I was overweight. I had bad hair. I don't know. I mean, maybe some people still think I had bad hair, but I had worse hair. Let's just put it that way. I was very awkward. I was kind of stuck between being a girly girl and a tomboy. It was a horrible time for me. I got made fun of a lot. I think in general, middle school for girls is hard because you're in that awkward kind of growth stage. A lot of times you have braces and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of a good one for young girls to keep in mind, that maybe you have a friend that looks perfect and she's already got this silky long hair and her teeth are already straight and white and she's already tall and filled out and you're, whatever. It's a nice reminder for young girls that maybe they're not the way they want to look now, but everybody peaks at different times, and it's kind of according to God's plan and just working through that. So that's a big one. And then also get comfy with being uncomfortable. Otherwise, you'll never stick to your guns. And it reminds me of that song. What is it? You got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. And of course, this is all from a biblical Christian standpoint. So it's talking about standing up for your values and your virtues and sticking to your guns about what you know is right, whether that's what the crowd is doing or not. It talks a lot about peer pressure and things like that, which are important, I think, at any age. Even when she was in public school, which now we homeschool, but even when she was in public school, even in first grade, I mean, it was already like, so-and-so has a boyfriend and so-and-so is doing this, There was already the little beginnings of peer pressures and kind of that passive-aggressive bullying that kids can do sometimes, kind of underhanded. And so I think being okay with the fact that you might not always have a lot of friends because you're making the right choices and you're not hanging out with the crowd that you shouldn't be and things like that. Those were the top 3 truths that stuck out to me in my mind. But there's 10, so one for each chapter. Even as an adult, this book spoke to me in a lot of places that I didn't really expect for it to. It was funny because a lot of the chapters are just, maybe coincidentally or not, but they kind of coincided with exactly things that we've been dealing with our 11-year-old, things that I've been trying to tell her that maybe she believes me, maybe she doesn't, I don't know, but because I'm her mom, it's easier to pass it off as, oh, it's just my mom, but here we are having some of the same exact conversations and topics that we're talking about in our personal lives are in this book written by somebody else. And it was so funny. Almost every night when I would read her a new chapter, it was like almost everything we were reading was related to something that I've already talked to her about or been trying to work with her about. And so it was really funny, and it really was good timing that we read this when we did. And I really enjoy reading it to her. And as I said, it's going to be the kind of thing that I think is really going to be really helpful to her again a couple years down the road when she's a little bit more mature. Maybe she's at the dating age, and some of these topics are going to be a little bit more relevant to the stage of life that she's going to be in. But I really enjoyed it. It's a quick read. It's really inexpensive. It's only like $8 on Amazon. And so I think it's definitely one you're going to want to have in your home library. Or maybe give it to if you have a friend that has a girl that's kind of in her pre-tween or teen years, maybe she would enjoy this to read with her daughter, or have her daughter read on her own. And I'm anxious to see if Carrie comes out with any more books, because this one was really awesome. So I will have the links where you can purchase it down below. Let me know if you like this video. Let me know if you've read this book and what your comments and thoughts were about it. Please like this video if you do. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.